Hello and welcome to another instructional video for our Moodle course. This video will focus on discussion forums. Discussion forums are a very big and an important part of the course. They are where you will spend the majority of your online time, and it is also the case that your participation in online forums is a big chunk of your grade. So it's important that you understand both the mechanics of how you go about posting to forums, where to find them and that kind of thing, but also that you understand exactly what expectations are for the kind of posts you should make and the activity level you should have in the forums. So let's get started. Okay, by clicking on this link here, you will be taken to the Google Doc that contains the rubric for your participation in the discussion forums. So in this video, I'll navigate between our Moodle course page and this discussion forum. And certainly when you have watched this video, one of the first things you should do is go and read thoroughly this page and of course make special note of the rubric. I'm going to give you in this short video just the key points to consider. Now, the first thing I should say is that discussion forums are really the online equivalent to classroom discussions. They are about demonstrating to the instructor, to me, that you have not only read and thought about the material, but that you can give a good account of that material and use different parts of that material in a discussion. So you shouldn't feel like this is something unusual or peculiar to online courses. Of course, the mechanics of doing it online is very different, but it is an expectation in traditional classes that you will be able to talk about and express and pull from the reading. So basically, this is how it works. Each week you will be expected to participate in a discussion forum. The discussion forum can be found in each week at the bottom of the introductory text here, and below the additional materials you will see the discussion forum. It is, as you can see here, grayed out, and this is a first important point. The discussion forums are open only for the week of that topic. So when you go in to your Moodle course, as I'm sure you already have, you will not see all this material. You will just see the week one discussion and the fact that it's grayed out. Of course, when the week rolls around, this will open up and you'll be able to get into it. Now, because I'm the instructor, I have access whenever I want, so I will pretend for now that it is in the middle of week one and we can access this material. So what happens is you have done your reading, you've thought about the material, you maybe watched one or two of the extra videos or lectures, and then you open up the discussion forum. And this is what it looks like. Okay, as you can see, each week the forum will contain between 3 and 5 different subjects, and we call these different subjects threads. So each week there is one forum, and in that forum there are a number of threads, and each thread is going to be focused on a different aspect of the week's material. Okay, so basically you read your weekly reading, you thought about the material, and you decide it's time to participate in the online discussion. So you pick the question, the area which you think you would be most interested in discussing with your fellow classmates, and then you click on that thread. So let's assume that you want to do this one here. You click on it and it opens up here, and I give you, a little bit more information here about the kind of things you might want to think about. This is really just for information, guidance. It's certainly not mandatory you talk about those things, but then you are ready to post. Now I've done a dummy post here from a dummy student, and you can see this is what it looks like when a subsequent person posts. But if you are ready to post, you simply go to the reply button and you are taken to the screen, and then in here you type what it is you want to say about the topic, blah 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 blah. Once you've finished and you've read it over, and of course you have checked it for appropriateness and all that kind of stuff, you post to the forum. It says you have 30 minutes to retract, edit, or otherwise change that post. So you've successfully posted to the weekly forum. That is the first step. Okay, so you've been successful in posting to the forum. Now I want to switch here to the Google Doc about the rubric and that kind of thing, and talk a bit about how exactly this should work. It's one thing to see me type in gibberish to a forum, but what am I expecting of you? The first thing to say is that your time each week should be split between reading and watching and thinking about the material and this discussion. And you want to revisit the online discussion threads several times throughout the week. It will not be sufficient, and the rubric reflects this, it will not be sufficient to wait until the last minute and post some stuff then or cram it all in towards the end of the week. The idea is very much that you post throughout the week, primarily really so that other students, other learners, and I have a chance to see what you've posted and respond to it. Each week, as you will have seen, as I noted, there is between 3 and 5 questions, prompts. And the first thing is to underline what I've already mentioned, which is that at the end of each week, the forum is closed. And it's that point that I assign a grade for that week's participation. If I remember correctly, and the syllabus will confirm this, you can check, but I believe it's 40% of your overall grade. So obviously pay attention to making sure the week does not get away from you. So in that week, you are to basically respond to at least 3 of the different threads. So you must be an active participant in 3 threads in each week's forum. And in addition, one of those threads must be the document thread. And if you remember, or you can see from the Moodle page, what I have done is made the, if I get back to the course, hold on here, I have made the document thread obviously mandatory because it's in red. So basically each week you will have to do 3 of the threads, one of which must be the document thread. Okay, that's the first thing you must be aware of. Now secondly, your posts really must be reflective of the reading. This is not a opinion based, this is what I think about this topic, I really like this, without any kind of evidence. So what I'm looking for is your ability to really defend and refute historical claims based on the evidence in the reading. So your claims need to be substantive and based in the reading. Okay? At this point, I'd like to point out that one of the threads every week is one that is entitled Any Questions for Dr. Fisher. And this is a thread which we will use, or you will use, as a way to communicate to me any questions you have about the material. This could be a simple factual thing, a simple short kind of discussion. It could be a more back and forth discussion. It really doesn't matter. It's kind of open-ended. It's a way for me to interact with you. And the reason that it's a forum, a thread in the forum, excuse me, is because oftentimes this kind of discussion, this information will be useful for the group as a whole, and therefore it'll be there for all to see. But as you will see, that thread is not one that will count towards your weekly participation. It is not an assessed thread. It is merely there as a learning tool. So when you calculate participating in 3 of the weekly threads, you may not count that as one of your threads. Now, of course, you can do more than 3 threads. You can do as many threads as you like, and you get credit for it. But the minimum, as I say, is 3 threads. So 3 of these, one of which must be the red one. Okay, so the last thing I'll just say here, because I feel like I'm somewhat waffling, is that you should read this grading rubric and be very aware of the kind of things I'm looking for. Okay, so let me just quickly talk about the rubric and hit the key points of the way your grade is comprised each week. There are 4 categories in the rubric, the first of which is frequency and spread. This refers to the number of posts you make each week and to the fact that they must be spread across those 3 threads. So your goal is 5 posts, at least 5 posts each week, and they should be equally spread across at least 3 posts, at least 3 threads, and one of those threads, of course, has to be the document one. The next category is content, and this is really the substantive part of your post. It should be reflective of the reading. It should be based on evidence. You should be able to refer to specific events. You should be able to marshal evidence to support your claims, all that kind of stuff. And are your ideas more than just regurgitating the reading? Are you using what you read to really make an interesting claim about the topic? The third topic here in the rubric, and one that students tend to not quite focus on, and they really should, is that you really should be responding to other people's posts, and you should do that in a way which builds on their post. It's not enough just to say yes, I agree, or no, I don't agree. You've got to give more than just that. You've got to push the discussion forward. You've got to use evidence. So there's a category for that. And lastly is a category for what I'm calling mechanics, and that is just the issue of, is your post appropriate? Is the language appropriate? Can we all understand it? Is it not full of typos? And that kind of thing. So, as I say, and my voice is going, so I'm going to wrap this up. Read this carefully, the rubric. Be mindful of the fact that you have 1 week only for each discussion forum, and good luck, really. If you have any questions, be sure to email me, of course. And as I say, once we get the first couple of weeks under our belt, I think they will be proven to be a very exciting and useful way to explore the history we are studying. Okay.